We have an exciting video for you guys this week. We're going to save the cleanest 996 Turbo I've ever seen in my life. It was involved in a heavy front-end collision. As you can see from these videos, it was in pretty rough shape. Now this car is a 2002 Porsche 911 Turbo. It's manual, it's extremely clean. A lot of even the interior, all the little chassis bits, everything are immaculate on this car. So we wanna make sure this car is repaired correctly. Now, because we are not a collision repair shop, we do not have the proper equipment, like a frame rack, to do the front end tub repair of this car. So we sent it out to a different body shop that is a collision repair shop to do the repair to Porsche specifications. Now, the car was just dropped off, and I'll show you how it looks right now. I'd say they did a pretty dang good job. So my first step here, I think, is gonna be getting the driver's side fender bolted up. I'm gonna get the bumper, I'm gonna get that clipped in and make sure everything kind of gaps to how it's supposed to be. That's gonna be my first starting point. And then we're gonna go from there and start repairing any other damage on the car that needs to be done. Like the driver's side fender's dinged up, the chips, we gotta pull off this clear bra here. I can't paint over that obviously, so I gotta pull that off. Look at all this junk. Just kidding, it's expensive Porsche parts, not junk. In this box is a 996 Turbo front bumper, supposedly. Ooh, I love it when parts come pre-primed. Not that we're not chopping this bumper up a little bit, but just the simple things in life. There we go, there's our bumper. This is going to be modified to have a center air exhaust, we'll call it, for the center air radiator, because we have a center radiator that goes in this car with a ductwork to go through it, because this car is upgraded. Center grill that goes on the bumper. OEM, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for fender mount. Tony did all of the estimating and invoicing and dealing with the insurance companies and all that stuff, so I didn't really know what was inside this box. But he swears that it's all here. I'm saying that he didn't actually swear it's all here, but I'm sure he would, so I'm gonna say that anyway. I needed to grab this fender support. It goes underneath the fender, so this thing stops flopping around. This is also part of the fender support, which will help keep it from flopping around. And this is the clip for the edge of the fender. That goes right here. Let's swap this over and put these brackets on. And then we'll have a little better bearing to get everything aligned. Also, I got this front tie bar piece here too, I found. I gotta bolt this on appropriately so the bumper has somewhere to mate to. Amos tore this car down a while ago before we got it fixed. And he labeled every individual baggie so well. So Amos, if you're watching this, thank you for being such a upstanding citizen and making my life easier. I make fun of my old noises. I'm old now. Damn. Look, we're done. The car's ready for pickup. The whole car except for the headlights. We don't need those. Those are overrated. So what I'm doing here is loosening and tightening the bracket that the bumper mounts to at the top here while the bumper's still on, so I can adjust the alignment and see like a live view of it, because the bumper will actually flex around right now, which is nice and handy. Let's make sure I can gap it nicely rather than take the bumper off 30 times.
Okay.
I put the tie bar and stuff. Anyway, it's gapped and everything fits nicely. There is one issue though, and I tried to figure out what's up with this fender. I don't know if it's an aftermarket fender. I don't know if they make aftermarket fenders.
I don't know if that exists.
I don't know if that even exists.
Right. So what's wrong?
It fits funky, and like up here it curls in really hard. I don't know if that's from damage done to the fender or what, but I can't get it like easily.
And shipping and whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been painted a couple times. You can see the white running down right now.
We'll take it all off.
So I don't know what's up with this fender. There's multiple layers of paint. There's two layers of white there, it looks like.
All right, well, we'll just, I mean, we'll just take the paint off. Then we don't need to know what's up with the fender. We just need to make it right.
This video has been paid for and sponsored by Noom. With our busy lifestyle and trying to keep up with work in the shop, it is very tough to keep up with our health both physically and mentally. Noom is not only a weight management program, it is also a stress management program. A different way to approach weight management, Noom only takes a few minutes each day to use, and the results are sustainable. The Noom curriculum offers daily lessons designed to fit into your schedule and help you gain confidence with practical knowledge that you can employ right away. Things like Introduction to Psychology of Weight Loss, Food Fundamentals, Mastering Motivation, and other great programs. And you're not alone. The Noom Circles is a new online community that will help you connect with the Noom family. Click the link in the description down below for your free Noom evaluation and a 14-day free trial on us. It's quick, easy, and will help you create your own custom plan. And remember, health doesn't happen in the doctor's office. It happens at home with you. I might have to hammer and dolly and stuff to get it to display out where I want to go without.
Okay.
I don't know. It's gonna be a kind of pain.
Anything's going to be a pain because shipping this back to where it came from and getting another one shipped here and then hoping that it doesn't have a problem is probably more painful.
Yeah, well, maybe they should have shipped us not a destroyed fender in the first place.
Welcome to used parts. Woohoo!
Yeah! The hood here is from a different Boxster project.
No, it isn't. You can't put a Boxster hood on a 911. Everybody knows that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's it from then, Tony?
Must be from a 911 because it's fitting a 911.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's silver, too.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
Yep.
He's lying.
Everybody knows that a Boxster and a 911 are completely different cars, and one is completely superior to the other. So there is no way that a Boxster hood would fit.
The one that's
a
not
911.
superior is actually totally not detuned to not be superior.
Correct. Yeah. None of that happens. Yep.
My problem right now is this right here.
Is that?
I can get the rest to sort out, but this is fighting me.
If we can do that, we can fix this.
I'm not saying we can't. I'm just giving you the update. This is the Monday afternoon update of where we're at so far.
Yeah. Perfect.
Otherwise, I'm happy with it. Like, they did a really good job with the framework. I guesstimated adding our brackets on to put the bumper up, and it actually all lined up fairly easy. So
sweet.
Shout out to whoever did it. I don't actually know. Was it
Ultimate Auto Body? Yep.
Shout out to Ultimate Auto Body of Dover for doing a ultimate auto body job to this. That was smooth, right?
That was it.
Got you guys a new jingle. Too.
Yeah. I mean, you're the body guy, so I'm gonna let you do it. But there is something going on with that corner. It doesn't really matter what. We just got to fix it. I mean, honestly, you could have had that straightened out in the amount of time we spent talking about it.
No, I could not have.
You can have it half straightened out in the amount of time we spent talking about it.
See if Roger can be a little bit of help here before I take the fender off. I think if I use a plastic wedge behind here and I tap from the top, it might work out in my favor. Roger is a reliable source, and he says it'll be okay. So I think I figured out why this corner is so tight up against the pillar when I have things gapped correctly. So I noticed on this fender, which number one is already kind of beat to hell. I mean, it's just all scratched up and dinged and whatnot. Not a big deal, but on the underside down here, the fender is rolled in and there's marks of bare metal along here from the tire rubbing against it. Now this fender is a used fender from a different car. That could have been a track car, that could have been a car that was just slammed and just beat around the streets. I don't really know. But I noticed by looking at it that there's a buckle right here where this is pulled out because this had been colliding with whatever wheel. I mean, it also could have happened with like shipping or whatnot too, I'm not sure. But if this is pulled out right, it's going to fulcrum off here and push this in. So this is pulled out, pushing this in against the pillar. That is why this is so garbage up here. This one's not pulled out, which makes the scap really nice. And it makes more sense to me too, because I remember running into problems in the slant nose. When we built the slant nose, we retained the original edges and I added our flares, and I had to like kind of pull things around stuff as I fit it up. And I had an issue with just pulling in, and I had to like cut it and re-weld it to make it fit better. I think it's because I pulled that out. Yeah, you can see right here where it buckled. There's a little buckle here too. Pain. So we have all the panels gapped and fitted on the car. I'm actually very happy with how it's all ended up. Again, this fender was a bear, but we figured it out. So the next step is we're gonna remove the paint from the fender because this thing's been repainted a couple times and like the paint's chipping off. I do not trust it to just kind of feather it out and paint over top. So we're gonna strip at least the exterior paint off. We don't wanna have it flake down the road. So I'm gonna get the paint off the fender and then we're gonna start doing some body work. That's gonna be the fun part. I'm gonna make some dust. Okay, not that tight. But yeah, you can see here what I was talking about, how it was rubbing the paint. The tire was rubbing. It actually unbuckled a lot when I just pushed this in. That's how bulged out it was. Before anybody asks, this is what we use. I like this stuff. It's the best stuff that works still, that has not the old, you know, cancer-causing stuff. Not that I think this stuff's great for you either, but the previous aircraft stripper that had the whatever chemical it is that is banned, that worked better, but all right. Let's get down to business. It's time to clean up the absolutely this barn find level hood that's on this car. I'm just using the old, you know, glass cleaner. Maybe it's working. Look at that dent right there. There's a dent he's fixed. Dang. The big boy. Yeah, oh man. There's a lot of, dude, there's so many dings from the inside out. Whoever's car this is on, you can see them with the light. You can see like little pock marks going upwards. There's so many of them, dude. Here, there's one here. There's here, 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 here. Somebody like traveled with a bunch of junk in the front of their trunk and just like slammed it over and over and over again. I swear. They're like, oh, it'll fit.
Oh yeah, I
crunch
see
it in. You see him now? Tony has another donor Boxster. I wonder if the hood's better on that one because I might just steal that one instead. Because it'll save us a lot of pain.
Yeah, it looks like someone was just driving around with a bowling ball in there.
Yeah, or I think this had the bowling ball. They had a whole 10 pins. They were just trying to cram in there. Oh, this one's way better. There's not a single dent on this one. Now see if he's willing to give up this hood instead, because it's literally just 4 bolts to switch them off the brackets. And top and bottom needs painted anyway.
Well, my thoughts are I don't want to do all the extra work, but also that's coming off of a car that has 0 sheet metal left on it because we cut it all off, where the other is a complete car. That's the only thing I don't like about it. But
I mean, I could fix it.
No, I think that we end up using that hood. Like I said, you know, I'm just, before I just say, oh yeah, just do it, I'm just weighing out.
Oh, you're calculating your moves?
Yeah, I'm calculating my moves.
I'm not familiar with that.
This is why I beat you in chess.
I've never beat him in chess. And we played many games of chess. Now, operation, on the other hand.
Super sweet 12-point socket that is missing the first 1/4 inch of teeth.
Thanks, craftsman.
I think we need to get that replaced, buddy.
Yo, it is pretty dead. It really is dead, isn't it? Yo, these are the first set of sockets.
No, I don't use this on impact. No.
Listen though, I bought these sockets the day I became a body man, like 9 years ago, I think, and I still use them daily, and it shows.
Not on impact.
Well, they're the Crafts. Yeah, never.
Never.
I would never use them on an impact.
No.
These are the Craftsman Professional line. They're so polished and nice. Oh no. It looks like a coconut frosted donut, doesn't it? Like it's sprinkled all over it. Like I think we need a second application to get through completely. Oh man. Yeah, second application will get it. look at that. We have a fender that's stripped off. At least the exterior is. The flanges and stuff don't need to be stripped down, which I'll do with a abrasive wheel a bit later, because right now I want to focus on some body repair. So now you're gonna get a crash course in what I do when I have some metal work to be done on a car with a fender that I didn't make. So looking at this right now, you can tell it's kind of matte, and from your perspective, this fender looks straight probably. This is where I use die chem yet again. So I can go with my hand across this like any other body man would do, and I can feel the lows and highs and whatnot. Like right here is extreme low. What's nice is also to be able to see the lows and to see them so well that you can then get a repair done that is borderline filler free. I think that there's not much in this world that's being done 100% filler free, because it's just not a sustainable thing to do. However, I like to get as close as possible in a reasonable amount of time. So what I use is die chem steel blue. I know there's a low spot there. I know it's a little wonky up here from where that buckle was. And I'm just gonna feel around the panel for any spots that will need some hammer and dolly work. Like right here's a little bit of a... And you're probably wondering, how's this going to show me my highs and lows? Just wait, I'll show you. I'll show you soon, relax.
Relax.
All right, so now that's dry. I already know there's a low spot here, but if I want to visualize it, now I can take a block. It's like I'm blocking a panel that has filler on it, except it's not gonna give because it's metal. You can see, I have a nice low spot right here. And a little spot there too. So now, as I am working the panel and I move from different machinery, or I do it all by hand here, wherever I do it, I won't lose that spot. And also, I can get a blue hand out of it, so that's kind of cool. Think about all the things I can like mark on my hands. Come here, Logan.
Everyone likes
Come
it.
here. So a lot of guys, when they're doing metal repair or a dent, will immediately jump to the standard hammer and dolly, like this one, for example, and start like, oh, this is low, I just gotta tap it back up and either push them from behind the hammer and dolly and it'll be fine. However, every strike that you're doing metal to this and sandwiching it to metal with a lot of impact like that, it's going to stretch it. I did most of this so far using either Roger, our plastic mallet, over a dolly, which does very little stretching, if not any at all, with how lightly I was hitting it. And also, this spoon here, which slapper, spoon, whatever you call it, this slapper, which again, does very, very, very minimal stretching. The spot's getting smaller here, so I have a low spot, pretty good low spot there. But I wanna bring it up a little bit more. I'm not super happy with it quite yet. Now remember, it's not about, oh, I could have just wiped some filler over that and been done, because yes, I could have done that. It's about having the least amount of filler, so there's the least amount of shrinkage down the road, and having some pride in your work. So I'm gonna spray epoxy on this because I always put epoxy down before any body filler or any other top coats when you have this much bare metal. If you have like a tiny little bare metal spot, you're okay, but this is way too much. Plus, I really don't like putting filler over bare metal at all. Also, while I'm at this, I'm going to do a spray out card for the paint. So this is an optimal time to drop some primer on this and drop a couple coats of paint on it and see if it matches the car. 3 to 1, I was right. Professional use only. Stuff is so sticky. There's not much more I hate in this world than old paint protection film, especially when it's so cracked that when you go to remove it, it just crumbles. Typically what I would do is use a steamer, and I would steam it and be able to peel a corner and kind of just peel it across. It would come off the correct amount of leverage and heat. However, this one's being a bear. I've tried all the tricks in the book so far. As you can see, I'm not very far, and I have a good bit of time in this. What I found to work the best so far is to take a heat gun, heat up the exterior of it until it's wrinkly, and it'll kind of just peel right, I say peel, it actually like melts off. I can scrape it. So I'm wondering now, I'm gonna do a test here. If I take some adhesion remover on the areas I've peeled, I'm curious to see if it'll come off the rest of the way or if I just made a big mess for myself. So I think what we do is I'll text Tony and say we have an issue over here. So I'll just page him. I'll be like, hey Tony, can you come over to the body shop? I'm gonna get inside the bumper box, which we've left closed on purpose for like how long now? Like 3 days probably. So Tony wouldn't think anything was off when it was suddenly closed after being open, and then it's gonna pop out. What's like the most like, oh man, how did you scare me with that phrase I could use? I think Ooga Booga is a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Comfy in there?
Yo, I'm very comfortable. I feel like Solid Snake. I'm infiltrating. Plus, there's a lot of foam in here from the packing material, so I can take a nap in this box. Oh, dude, I could fly out of this thing. we gotta get him over here.
Aha.
Hey, what's up?
He's in the bathroom, but something with this.
Yeah, we got him.
Yeah, you did.
You took too long. My legs hurt.
I was watching you on the cameras the whole time.
No,
so
you weren't. You were out there. Conditioned you for the past 3 days to expect this box to be closed. We knew if you saw it open every day you walked in, then you would like. This has been planned since Monday.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly.
Yep. Ball's in your court now.
Yeah, right, yeah, man. Now I gotta come up with
Speaking
something.
of balls, I lost my Nerf ball. All right, so it's tomorrow now. It's now tomorrow, as opposed to the previous clips. And our fender is cured enough that I can do the body work. I'm pretty happy with how straight the stuff turned out. Just a little bit of hammer and dolly and spoon work here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna throw a guide coat down onto the flat surface of the exterior panel quick. We're gonna block it straight. I'm hoping that like the areas here actually might come out with a little bit of light blocking and then the primer and not need any filler. I know early in the video I said there's no such thing as a filler-free repair, and that's still true because high build primer is still a filler. Right, Tony?
True, it is. It's
Yeah.
just much thinner but more even filler.
Exactly. All right, so this is guide coat. I actually like the sprayable guide coat. I know people have their thoughts about it. It's literally just charcoal with an accelerant to spray it on there. Charcoal dries, and then you just sand till the charcoal's gone. There's 2 reasons we're going to do this. 1, so we can see any imperfections that may need some filler, and 2, because of this peel. We want to sand away this peel without going through the epoxy. The epoxy is a barrier, which is also an adhesion layer to the fender, so we want to make sure that we don't go through it. And I mean, if you go through here and there, it's okay, but I like to not go through it at all, so I'm gonna do my best to do that. I'm gonna take this here and just hit the exterior panel. Boop, boop, boop. I love the smell of this stuff. Plus side is, with this epoxy, you have 7 days of it being open, which means I can top coat it with anything I want without having to scuff it beforehand. So when I prime it, and I get primer like in the tray down here and such, if I even tried to do that, I don't know if I'm gonna try that or not, but if I do, it'll adhere directly to that. I don't actually have to scuff it. So the fender is ready for primer. And now the hood is as well. I just went through and de-aged it down to get rid of all the paint chips. I'm gonna pull the hood off here, scuff the edges so the primer doesn't like lift on the edges. And I think we're about ready to take these things over to the primer and take care of them.
Yeah, like
Right! Crikey! That's what he does, right? Rip to a real one. I'd say that the new fender, the new used one's a bit better than the old one, right? So we did it. We got to the goal I wanted to get to this week. And the hood and fender are repaired and in primer. So what's next is, these are gonna sit for a little bit. Whenever I prime anything, I like to let it shrink in and stop moving around before I sand it. So we're gonna let these sit. And next week's video, I'm gonna start out by jamming these out, and we're gonna customize the front bumper. The front bumper gets original OEM GT2 parts added to it. So we're gonna customize the front bumper. And then by the end of next week's video, this car should be painted. That's the goal. We're gonna customize the bumper, get this stuff blocked out and ready for paint and painted. The Crucible Coachworks store is still up, cruciblecoachworks.com. Cop some new swag. There's some new stuff going up there soon as well. And if you like this video, drop a like and let us know down below what you liked about it. Start a conversation. We'll riff off that, you know? We'll have a little tit for tat, whatever. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.